If you're one of those people who walk around and wonder how it's gonna be like to travel by yourself, or if you have a dream about traveling by yourself, then this video is gonna be for you, because I'm gonna go over 7 reasons as to why traveling by yourself is gonna be the best thing you've ever done in your life. Alright, so let's start with reason number 1. Solitude. One of the best things I have experienced since traveling by myself is that I've been able to learn how to deal with loneliness. When I came here to Australia the first couple of days, I felt extremely lonely and I felt extremely out of place. And I've told this story before, but I felt like a lost kid at a grocery store. Everything was like super new. I was very uncomfortable. I was way outside my comfort zone because I'd also sold all my stuff in Sweden and traveled by myself. But one thing that I really learned with traveling by myself is to be alone in a good way and finding peace with being alone. I'm a very extroverted person, and in the past I've craved to be around other people all the time almost, and traveling by myself has definitely forced me to be outside my comfort zone when it comes to be around people all the time. So traveling by yourself will definitely help you transform feelings of loneliness into solitude, and that is an extremely good reason why you should travel by yourself. Alright, reason number 2 is freedom, and this was like one of the best things I've experienced in my life, because when I started traveling by myself, I actually realized for the first time in my life that I was able to do exactly what I wanted when I wanted to do it. It might sound a little bit silly, but the freedom that comes with just being by yourself, you have nobody to answer to. You can do absolutely anything you want at all times. You can get drunk every day if you want to. Even though I spent like 2.5 months in lockdown in a hostel, it was like one of the most peaceful periods I've ever had in my life, because I had no obligations to do anything. If you're gonna have the courage to travel by yourself, you're going to realize how much freedom you can have in your life. You don't have to have a 9-to-5 job. You don't have to live like every other person on the planet. You don't have to be in this sort of hamster wheel looking forward to the weekend every fucking week. This sort of goes hand in hand with the first reason as well, but this solitude and this freedom is going to teach you so much about yourself. That reason alone is one of the reasons you should travel by yourself. It's definitely going to teach you how to think outside the box and how you would want to live your life in the future. Alright, the third reason is action. This goes hand in hand with the second one as well, because you can't rely on anybody to do anything for you. You gotta do everything yourself, and this has been a really good lesson for me, because in the past I've sort of like relied on other people to do things for me or to help me out in a certain way. So when you travel by yourself to the other side of the planet like I did, it sort of like forces you to become more independent, and it forces you to become stronger in that sense, because you're going to start trusting yourself more of taking the action needed to survive, or basically to get by. And also when you take a lot of action, you stop procrastinating stuff, and that's also one of the weaknesses I had in my past, that I'm used to procrastinating a lot of stuff all the time. And traveling by myself has really taught me how to, instead of procrastinate, I just decide, okay, I just do it now. I take action now, I do it now, I get it over with. Even though the task might be boring to do, I do it anyway, because what's the option? Go and wait to do it later? Because I have to do the same task later anyway. So one of the biggest lessons that traveling by myself has taught me is to take more action and become more disciplined in dealing with stuff that I don't necessarily want to do. Number 4 is expansion, and this is a pretty big one, because when you leave your hometown and when you leave your home country, you're gonna experience so many new cultures, especially if you travel to like Australia, which is a multicultural country and has a lot of tourism. Because the first 6 months I lived here in Australia, I spent at a hostel, and I met so many different people from so many different countries. At the same time as I was super relaxed and free and all those things, I also felt like I could learn so much from just by being around people from different countries, because when you just spend your life in one city or in one country, you're gonna get very shaped into that sort of culture, and it's almost like you're gonna get stuck in a box, in my opinion. And the only way to really break out of that box is to travel, and especially traveling by yourself. When we expand our life, we expand our comfort zone, it also teaches us how to face our fears. And facing our fears is obviously gonna be scary to do, but you have to realize also that you don't have to be scared of fear. If every human in history would have been identified with their emotions and their fears, we would have no explorers. We wouldn't have discovered America. We wouldn't have discovered Australia. We would have just stayed in our comfort zone, and we would never have gone explore the planet. So that's why expanding our comfort zone, that's why facing our fears is going to teach us so much about ourselves. I can't really relate to like 1% of how I used to think before I traveled. I've been in Australia now for more than 2 years, and it's been the best 2 years of my life by far, and I've grown and learned so much about myself and the world. This reason is also one of the best reasons why you should travel by yourself, because it's going to give you more of an objective view of the world, instead of being like very subjective, very narrow-minded, just how like one country thinks, for example. You get like a world perspective, and in this day and age, that is extremely healthy in my opinion. Alright, number 5, and that's growth. And this reason sort of like ties together with all the other ones. I definitely felt like I needed to include this one because the amount of personal growth you're gonna experience when you travel by yourself is incredible, and I don't see, like, I think there's few things that can match that amount of personal growth that you're gonna experience when you travel by yourself, because you're constantly gonna put yourself in new situations, you're constantly gonna put yourself outside of your comfort zone, and like I said before, it forces you to take action, it forces you to become more disciplined and rely more on yourself. I could just make a video alone with the amount of personal growth that I've experienced in myself, but I'm so fucking grateful for taking the decision and having the courage to do something like this, because it's changed my life forever. And if you're a person that is curious about traveling by yourself or going to Australia or doing whatever by yourself, the amount of courage that takes is a lot, and you're gonna build up self-confidence within yourself from doing that, and it's obviously gonna feel uncomfortable, but when we face things that's uncomfortable for us, we grow. The last 2 years has constantly been me facing uncomfortable situations, and it's forced me to grow. It's not always been super pleasant, but one of the biggest driving forces in my life is to become the best person I can possibly be. So put yourself in uncomfortable situations, that's gonna make you grow, and that's one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to do this in the first place. Alright, the 6th one, and this has been extremely important for me, and this is perspective. So traveling by yourself really helps you to take like an objective view of the world, and it really puts things into perspective. If you're gonna live in your hometown for all your life, or if you're gonna live in the same country that you were born in, you're only gonna think and act as a person coming from that city or that country. And I'm not saying that everybody has to go travel the world, but I'm saying that when you do travel the world, you're gonna get such a broader perspective of the world and how cultures function and everything. And it's also gonna take away a lot of prejudice that you have to other cultures and other people, other countries, everything. It's gonna basically make you feel more of a world citizen, because seeing new cultures, letting go a lot of prejudices, that's what's not to like about that. It's definitely gonna make you a better person. Alright, reason number 7, and this is one of the most obvious reasons in my opinion, and this is memories and stories. So when you've gone through all of this challenging stuff that's obviously going to be a part of you traveling by yourself and all that, you're going to end up in situations that you would never have dreamed of. You're going to have experienced things and met people, and you're going to have so much things and stories and memories to look back on and tell your grandchildren or whatever when you're old. If you're one of those people who want to travel by yourself and you think that you have this thing figured out how you want things to turn out on your travels and whatever, nothing of that is probably going to happen. If you vision yourself like the best possible scenario you can possibly visualize, and you times that by 100, you're not going to be able to foresee anything, and that's going to be the best part, that everything is just going to be unknown, everything is going to be new. After traveling by yourself for 6 months, you won't be able to recognize yourself, and I can promise you that. I believe that everybody should save up a lot of money and travel by themselves, because investing in yourself is the best investment you can ever do. Like, if you save up money and you decide to put it on unnecessary things, it doesn't necessarily is going to bring you either memories, stories, or fulfillment in your life, then what's that worth, you know? Like, put money into travels, put money into adventure, exploration, like, put money into your personal growth, like all of that. Spending money on traveling by yourself is going to be the best investment you can ever do in life, especially if you're in your 20s. If you have a thing, if you have a thought, if you've been walking around having a thought in your mind that you want to travel by yourself, if you want to do something, then just do it. Because if you don't do it, you're just going to walk around and think about it, and you're going to live with regret for the rest of your life. You don't want to do that. Take action, expand your mind, challenge yourself, because it's going to make you grow. And that's what life is all about, in my opinion. Alright, that is 7 reasons why traveling by yourself is going to be the best thing you've ever done. I really hope that you like this video. I absolutely love doing this video. And this is something that I'm very passionate about, because obviously I have traveled by myself, and I have a very hard time to think that something in my life is gonna beat this that I've done. I just wish that more people would wanna face their fears and travel by themselves, because it would probably be a better world in my opinion, because people would be broadening their view of the world and they would get to know themselves a lot better. Because I think that a lot of people walk around and they don't really know themselves. And I think that putting yourself outside your comfort zone and traveling by yourself, it's gonna force you to take a look at yourself. And it may not always be super comfortable, but it's so fucking healthy. And I think that a lot of people in the world could definitely need that in this day and age. Anyway, I really hope that you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to comment and subscribe, and I will definitely see you in the next video. Thank you so much. Peace.